Hi everyone and welcome to Franka's Fab Family. I am Franka and I want to thank you so much for tuning in again. If you tuned in yesterday, you know that for the next 5 days we are going to look at health in different categories. And today we are going to start with psychological health. How do we help our children develop themselves psychologically? Psychological health is how you think of yourself. So let's think about how our children think about themselves, and let's give them skills and strategies to think positively about themselves. What I did with my children, ever so often I will have them take a sheet of paper and fold it, and I need them to write down what they think about themselves. All the positive things that they think about themselves, and then they're going to write down, make another list of areas of concern. Things about themselves that they would like to improve or they would like to change or develop, things like that. These definitions or words that children will use to express themselves will change over time. They will change. They will actually increase or develop over time. And what you as a parent should do is help guide your children into thinking well of themselves. That means, what are some of the things that the children will say about themselves? Do your child say, I'm stupid, I'm so dumb, I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm that, and things like that? Those words you don't want your children to digest permanently, or you don't want them to become the branding force of themselves. So what you're going to do is help your child think of all the positive things about themselves. I'm strong, I'm kind, I'm hardworking, I'm outgoing, I'm friendly, I'm responsible, I love myself, I love my family, I'm good at school, I'm good in math, things like that. Help the child to think about how they think about themselves. Give them words or encourage them to define themselves to themselves. And the reason why this is so important, you ever heard someone say, "Who are you?" Who are you? In adult life, somewhere along the line, someone will ask you, "Who are you?" We are not our names. We are not our race. We are not our gender. We are the characteristics of our personality, the things that come from within us, right? When you have good psychological health as a child, you will have good self-esteem. You will be confident. You will believe in yourself. And what happens when you help your child explain to themselves and tell themselves all of these wonderful things about themselves, when they have a tantrum, when they act out of character, when the parts of them that need refining, or the naughty parts of them, because we all have naughty parts that we're born with and we must work on. But what happens is that when you ground yourself psychologically in telling yourself, "I am a good person, I am a hard worker, I am honest, I am outgoing," what happens? That becomes your barrier, your marker as to how do I get back to that state anytime I fall out of alignment with that. So let's say a child is having a really bad tantrum. No, let's actually use this. Let's say a child stole something. They went to a friend's house and they stole something. They went to a store and they stole something. And the child has written down, "I'm honest, I'm trustworthy," things like that. You then get to help bring the child back and away from those things. Later on, in a couple weeks, when I speak about some areas or some situations that you should not entertain in your children, and definitely stealing will be one of them. But when you think about psychological health, if you have had the child define, "I am an honest person, I'm trustworthy, I'm a good friend," when the child behaves out of alignment with that character, you can then remind the child as to how they have defined themselves. You will say to the child things like, "Would you willingly be friends with a person that you know if they came to your house, they will steal from you? Would you be friends with a person who you know always use hurtful words, that anytime you're around them, they make you feel bad? Would you do that?" And more than likely the child is going to say no. So then you tell the child, "So remember, you should not be that person in another person's life." You are helping to really ground the child. Positive affirmations is another way to help your child develop a stable and a secure psychological health. That means every morning, my children have to tell themselves some wonderful things. We started with me telling them. I am strong, I am brave, I am courageous, I'm a good person. We started with me telling them, but then after a while, I told the children, it is your responsibility. Just like it's your responsibility to get up and brush your teeth, is get up and get dressed, take a bath after a certain age on your own, clean up after yourself. We must allow our children to develop the idea that psychologically they are responsible for how they think of themselves and think of the world in which they live. So therefore, we have to give our children strategies, and positive affirmations is definitely one of them. Tell your children to tell themselves positive things. I am hardworking. I am strong. I am courageous. I am brave. I'm a good person. I love life. I love my family. My family loves me. I can do anything that I want to do. Love lives within me. Wisdom lives within me. Tell your children to tell themselves these things on a daily basis. In the morning when you first wake up, I'm grateful for life. I'm happy that I'm alive today. I am who I am because life loves me. Tell your children to tell themselves these things. After you start telling your children, you really have to encourage them to tell themselves these things on a daily basis, as well as nighttime. Before they go to bed, sit on your bed for 5-10 minutes and tell yourself, I had a good day. I accomplished everything that I set out to accomplish today. I can produce anything I want out of life. I am strong. I am brave. Tell yourself to go to sleep. Tell your children to go to sleep with these affirmations in their head. It's really, really critical, because I realize real psychological breakdown in adult life is because a lot of people had no psychological healthy foundation, primarily in childhood. So because they didn't have it in childhood, all they did was just transition the dysfunction into adulthood. And we're really not about that life anymore, because really and truly the planet to me seems to be suffering. When we went through COVID, I remember telling everybody life was like, oh no, you humans are misbehaving. Everybody go sit down. Everybody go and sit down and think about how you're treating the planet, how you're treating each other, how you're treating yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people came out of COVID worse than when we went in. A lot of people actually came out of COVID worse than when we went in. We are talking about a global pandemic that told everybody to go sit down, go stay at home. And a lot of people use that time to beat their family, mistreat their family, dislike their family even more, and it was really supposed to be a time to me of psychological healing. Is how did you come out of that? And we are really missing opportunities. And as a person that's really here to stand guard for children, psychological health is so important. We must help teach our children how to think of themselves, what to think about themselves, and we have to give them strategies and clues. Good psychological health also encourages self-esteem. It helps the child to develop self-worth. How the child thinks about themselves will make the child have a positive outlook on life or a negative outlook on life. A child must feed themselves positive words. I must tell myself, if a child fails a test, oh man, let's look at why did you fail the test. Did you fail your test because you didn't study? Did you fail the test because you didn't do the extra work? Did you fail the test because you were hungry or tired? You didn't understand the material? And there is a reason why the child failed the test. Therefore, the parent now gets to fill in the gap. If the child really didn't understand the material, you actually have to find a tutor. You have to sit down at the computer, go online with the child, train yourself with whatever the subject matter is, and then help train the child to develop the child's self-esteem, the child's self-worth. But the child don't get to sit there and struggle through their education system and just think, I'm dumb. Maybe they have dyslexia. I have dyslexia. I found out that I had dyslexia when I was working on my master's. Imagine that. I had a teacher that had said to me, you know, I was able to articulate myself really, really well, but he saw certain patterns in my writing. And he asked me, was I ever like diagnosed or even just took the test? And I said no. So then they set me up and I went and I took the test and I came out positive, and that had explained to me why I had certain learning difficulties growing up. So what I did, I went and I got a whole bunch of books on dyslexia. I got a whole bunch of books on how to reprogram my mind, how to articulate myself in the written text properly and say exactly what I mean. But all of this is taking place in my adult life. Imagine if you have an adult in your life, or you're an adult in a child's life that is struggling and psychologically they're having difficulty learning. But a lot of parents are so busy living their own life that they are not really investing in the struggling of children. As a parent, I'm sorry to say, you have to put your own needs and desires on the back burner to make sure that you help these children fill in the gap of where they fall short. When we are born with certain strengths and we are born with certain weaknesses. As a parent, and that's why I say I find that a lot of parents don't take parenting seriously enough. It is your responsibility to help your child fill in the gap in these weak areas. You're not, you know, I'm just enjoying my life. Oh, this is too stressful. I want to sit down and watch TV. I want to go out and party. I want a new boyfriend or a new girlfriend every other week. Like, come on, people. You are responsible for another little human being that cannot be responsible for themselves, right? So psychological health, let's take time and look at that. And tomorrow we're going to look at emotional health. Emotional health is how a child feels about themselves. How I think results in how I feel about myself, right? So we are going to look at emotional health tomorrow. I am Franka Potter. Make sure you tell yourself and your children today that you are special. And the world definitely is a better place because you are here. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.